Greetings, peckish PCs and famished fanboys. It's time for another edition of Gastromancer's D20 Kitchen. You all know the rules, so without further ado, this time's list is eggs, pork, flour, cream cheese, onion, peppers, hamburger, chicken, yogurt, garlic, pasta, shrimp, carrots, potatoes, bacon, crab, steak, avocado, cabbage, and the wild card, which is going to be either whiskey, berries, coconut milk, brie, horseradish, or Nutella. Now I have a brand new gigantic D20 that we're going to use so you can see the numbers I'm rolling more clearly. Let's go ahead and do that. That's a 6 and a 2. 18. 6 again, that's a reroll. 11. 13. And 16. Let's see what that gives us. Alright, the ingredients have been rolled. I got carrot, which I have shredded up. Avocado. Got 2 of these, nice little Hass avocados. Peppers. I got a nice orange bell pepper, 3 jalapenos. Crab, I am using a good quality of fake crab meat. I can't afford the real thing, I'm a broke mofo. For the pasta, which is going to be kind of the tricky one, I'm using these little Mexican vermicelli style noodles. You can see there's little bitty guys. And then the pork. I have 4 thin-cut boneless pork loin chops, which I have covered in chili pepper, brown sugar, and a dry rub of Cajun seasoning. And we're going to start off by cooking these guys. Okay, I got my cast iron pan, always using cast iron when I can, to a nice high heat. Little tiny bit of oil in the bottom, enough to keep it a little dry. And I'm just going to drop in these 4 pork chops. Oh, that smells good. I'm just going to put kind of a light brown sear on the outsides, and they're not done cooking with this, but this is the only time they'll be spending in the pan. Just let them sit for about a minute on each side. They're real thin, so they're going to cook fast. Not to mention they have brown sugar on the outside, and that can overcook very quickly. As you can see, the brown sugar is already going to start to turn a little bit dark brown. Any longer that would have turned black, and that's no bueno. And those are done. Put them back onto a clean plate. Do not reuse the plates that had raw pork on it. Never a good idea. Okay, we've got 3 jalapeno peppers, good size. I'm just going to take the tops off and split them down one side. Kind of fold it open, get those seeds out of there. As much of the white as you can, just with your bare fingers. And I'll just split it down the middle. And you can also use your knife to give a quick little scrape, assuming it's sharp enough. And we're going to get those all just about like that, nice and flat, no seeds. Now we're back at the cast iron with our little flattened jalapeno pieces, and it's a much lower heat this time, not at high. It's about a medium low. I've left all the porky juice flavors in there, and I'm just going to kind of lay out the jalapenos flat. There's a tiny bit more oil added to the pan as well. And I'm just going to kind of let them slowly fry like that until they get nice and soft. I'm going to flip them after a few minutes. They're going to be cooking like this while I do the next step. Okay, now we got the orange bell pepper. Take the top and bottom off of that. Pluck those seeds on the white out. And when you get a nice flat half of it like this, just kind of lay it out. You want to carve off the very top level real carefully with a very sharp knife. So you're going to take off that much of it. You're pretty much just using this nice flat rectangle of skin. Don't forget to take the sticker off, that doesn't taste good later. And I'm going to cut it into a very, very fine julienne to use as a garnish for the end of our dish. And it's a good sign when they all stick to your knife. you get these little tiny orange pieces. You can see, just like that, a whole bunch of them. Okay, back to the jalapenos. They are still in the cast iron at a very low medium heat. They're starting to burn off a little bit. I just flipped them over. Now we're going to have to introduce a little bit of liquid so that they can get nice and tender. I'm just going to use a little splash of tequila. And then drop a lid over the top of that. That steam is going to cook through them and get the skin real soft. Alright, now in here in the blender, I have about 1.5 ounces of cream cheese, 2 spoonfuls of a nice aioli, some garlic, and a handful of some chopped green onion. I'm just going to process together because I don't have a food processor. Now after that's all chopped up, I'm going to add a little bit of Greek yogurt. And that'll help it all blend together into one nice puree. Okay, we've made our crab puree. The jalapenos are still sweating in the pan. This is a simple batter of eggs, flour, tiny bit of water, and whatever kind of seasoning you want. I use parsley, garlic, and onion. I'm just going to set that aside. And I've also got a small pan with some very hot oil, about 1 inch of it, and that'll be our next step. So now I've got the egg and flour batter and a plate covered with my little tiny vermicelli noodles. I've got my already pan-fried pork loin chops. I'm going to take one, dip it in the batter, dip that in the vermicelli noodles. I know they're already cooked, but they've had a nice amount of time to cool off by now. And that is going to go into the hot oil. One of the coated pork chops in very slowly, very carefully. And those noodles on the outside are going to cook very quickly, so don't be afraid to flip it early and keep an eye on it. And they're really just there to kind of add a fun, crispy texture to the outside of it. And they cook really fast in the oil though. So. My shredded carrots, all I'm going to do is add a little blast of fresh lemon juice. Easy stuff. Alright, now for the plating, I'm going to take one of those nice deep fried pork chops there. Going to add some slices of avocado. And just a little bit of those lemon-soaked carrots. Now we've got our cream cheese, crab, and green onion blend here. I have a good 3 scoops in the center there. Let it drizzle down the side. I've got these nicely sweated, very tender jalapeno pieces, and then some of that orange bell pepper. Now I've kind of got a green-orange thing going, one with the avocado and carrot, one with the jalapeno and the bell pepper, and then I'm just going to kind of top it off with one more deep fried pork chop, some Cajun seasoning. Yeah, it's going to be a nice, kind of a New Orleans flavor. Got some nice spicy jalapeno and creamy seafood flavor. And who can go wrong with deep fried? So there we have it for this this episode. Join me next week when I will actually cook my own face. See you then.